In this video, we will introduce loggers within the Java programming language. The Java Logging API allows you to save text to a central place to report on errors, provide additional information about your program, etc. This logging API allows you to configure how messages are written by which class with which priority. A habit you need to form right from the start is to make sure that you have logging implemented in your application and that you take the time to write good logging information. This can save you time and energy when debugging or enhancing any application. Let's demonstrate this in an example. Logging is very useful during debugging. Without logging, you might try to decipher the behavior of a program by inserting print line statements. For example, and I put something as such. Many people use this very technique, and in the absence of a debugger, sometimes that's all they have. However, once you decide the program is working properly, you'll probably take out the print line statements. Then, if you run into more bugs, you may need to put them back in. It's much easier if you put in some kind of output statements, which will only be used when necessary. So prior to the availability of the logging API in Java, programmers would often use a technique that relies on the fact that the Java compiler will optimize away code that will never be called. If the debug is a static final Boolean and you say, for example, Boolean debug equals true, if debug as we can see here, if I convert this to false, my print line will be optimized by the Java compiler and be taken out ultimately. Now let's implement a logger using the static method getLogger and see the difference. GetLogger finds or creates a logger for a named subsystem. And let's make an example right here. Using our logger, and we'll pass in our class name. We assign this logger to our instance variable logger, which is static and final, meaning the reference cannot be changed and it cannot be used within other static methods. Now how do we use this logger? Let's see. Logger.info, and here we can add our message. Now let's run our program to see our output. Right-click on the source, run as Java application. Notice that the logging system has detected the class name and the method name from which the log message originated. This is much better and finer than simply typing a debug.info or debug, this is where the bug was. This concludes our discussion of loggers in Java.